Hello. Is that an okay? I'm gonna have to shut the door because there's like glare. Let me just shut the door. I'm a little bit early, you guys, so don't worry if you're feeling like you're missing the first bit. I'm probably just gonna be quiet for the first couple of minutes because the printer's still going, if you couldn't hear that, and I didn't want to distract you guys with printer noises. That's a bit better already, isn't it? In fact, can we... Is that a bit better? Just need to turn the mug machine on and then we'll get making mugs. Be a bit loud for the first couple of minutes, so I'm just going to sit here awkwardly and just wait. On the floor. Are we okay though? Yes. Oh, one of you. Oh dear, what's just happened? One of you is here. Let's say hello. Oh, what are you doing, printer? I think you can go to sleep now. Don't strain yourself. Oh, the perks of working on your own. You have to like play stupid games with people on the internet. Right, I can't tell whether I can get away with opening a window because it does get quite hot in here when I'm making mugs, because the heat from the press, because it's such a small room, and the heat from the press just makes it turn into a bit of a sauna. So I think what I'll do, I don't think anyone's here yet, so I'll open the window. Let me know if it gets a bit loud and I'll shut the window, but for now I'm just going to open it a crack, just let a breeze in. And hopefully it's not too noisy because the lovely weather has disappeared again now and it's gone all windy and miserable looking, so... Oh, talking to me now, let me see. Okay, the mug machine, heat press should I say, is heating up. Every so often it's going to beep, and as we put mugs into the machine it's going to beep and stuff, so if you hear the beeping and the noises then don't be alarmed. Right, we are going to print some mugs today. I don't think I've ever done a live, so printing mugs that is, so we'll see how it goes. I ordered some mugs the other week and they arrived. Is that a bit loud? I don't know if the window being open is a bit distracting. Oh, that machine smells as well. If you've ever taken wallpaper off the walls with one of those heat like shield things, you put it on the wall and it like melts the glue holding wallpaper on the wall, that's what this smells like. Anyway, I ordered some mugs a couple of weeks ago and they arrived, and as with everything... Hi Lisa, how are you? Hope you're alright and enjoying your day off. I ordered some mugs and 6 of them were seconds, because as with everything you have to kind of go through it all and see if there's any seconds, and if there is, get in touch with the supplier and see if they're willing to rectify that. I think it depends on like the severity of what they consider to be seconds. Every supplier is different. Some suppliers might be like, no, that's not classed as a second, just to get out of sort of replacing things for you. These ones, I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. James looks at these and he's like, babe, there's nothing wrong with these. I, on the other hand, am like, no, I don't feel comfortable sending them out. They've got, I don't even know if you can see. Can you see that little tiny air bubble? That's what I'm talking about when I say these mugs have got slight imperfections. I would never sell anything as a seconds that isn't like, you know, you can still use them. They might just have tiny, and I mean minuscule, marks on them. This one here is a bit bigger, but it's just a little sort of imperfection in the ceramic. Barely noticeable, but it's not something that I would be comfortable selling at full price. So it's pretty good actually, because I've got some new designs here that I want to see how they look on mugs. So I thought for the seconds mugs, just to see how they turn out, it's a great opportunity to see if these designs actually look alright on mugs. So I'm just going to get the paper cutter and wrap some designs around some mugs, and I'll show you how I do it. It's a bit like magic. When I first did this at home, I was like, how does this work? Because it's all done via heat press, so it gets very, very hot, and that heat press transfers this design permanently onto a blank mug. And I don't know about you, but to me that's like, what sorcery is this? I don't know how it works. I need to learn the science behind it. But yeah, mug printing, that's a bit dark, isn't it? It's really cleverly, so it's so crazy how this works. And you'll see like my face every time I do it, I'm like, oh, it's so cool. But what I've learnt with making mugs is not every design looks nice on a mug, which might sound like common sense, but some designs look ace and some designs look like they're just not meant to be, and for that reason sometimes I sell them off cheap. I'm like, okay, I don't want that in the shop. There is actually a blue tip mug in the shop at the minute because I really like the design, and he looks stunning as a sticker because I've tried him as a sticker and I've tried him as a greeting card so far, and I'm sure he'd look great as a print, but on a mug, not so sure. Because the design wraps around the mug, sometimes the distortion of the design doesn't look so great. So this is the first one we're going to try, the terrarium. And if you're sat there thinking, why is it so pale? They come out of the sublimation printer very pale, and the ink is actually activated from the heat. So all of these are really pale when they come out. Again, that's something that you just learn as you go along. I didn't realise this before I did sublimation printing. So when I first did it, I was like, the printer's not working. There's many things as well that can go wrong with sublimation printing. So your heat has to be the right temperature, your ink plays a big part, the paper that you use plays a big part, the mugs and the blanks that you use play a big part. So when you are trying to problem solve, if your print hasn't come out so great, or if it's a bit grainy, if the ink's not very vibrant, it could be the mug, it could be the print, it could be the ink, it could be the heat or the pressure that it wraps around the mug with. It's many different things, hence why mug printing has never been one of my favourite things to do. But as time's gone on, with a lot of things I suppose, it gets easier. Now I will point out that I have run out of heat-proof tape. I've used masking tape before. I don't recommend doing this at home. Just a disclaimer, I do this at my own risk because it could catch fire and it could also melt onto your mug. I've used it before and it's alright, but I just wanted to put it out there that if you want to try this for yourself, just don't use masking tape. So I've already sort of put the design to size on Photoshop, and now it's just a matter of trimming the edges down. Oh, sorry if that was a bit loud. Don't worry, it's never caught fire. I just say that it could catch fire because it's more of a papery tape, whereas heat-proof tape is like a metal tape. So it's designed to get very, very hot. I think this machine is like 350 degrees, so it does get hot. And don't worry, I never leave the machine unattended. There we go. Just turn him off for a second. Oh no. Shush. I never leave the machine on its own. I don't even leave it with a mug in it to go and make a cup of tea. I'm here at all times, and I've never had any problems when I've used masking tape. But yeah, you should use heat-proof tape. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I've cut the design to size, and obviously it's all backwards when you print it off, so you just flip it horizontally. So your text and everything is backwards, and then you sort of have to just get it as accurate as possible laid onto your mug. And this is where my tongue comes out. I'm like, is it accurate? And then you stick it down. The other thing that could alter the quality of your print is how long you leave it in the press, sorry. So it could be the ink, and all of those things are listed. It could also be the amount of time you've left it in the press. So for me, it's kind of averaging about 5 minutes per mug. So plenty of opportunity to sit and chat with you all. You can kind of see, I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can see the design showing through a little bit. That all depends on the design as well. Sometimes you can't see it, and it really helps if you can see it, because then you can kind of gauge how it sits. And I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm just going to pop it in the press and we'll just hope for the best, shall we? Oh, right, boom. So that's the first one in. If you have any more questions around how I print the mugs, let me know. But yeah, don't get too scared. When I said it might catch fire, that's really dark. I can move you. So, okay, maybe not kill everybody, that's not ideal. Oh my goodness. It's because you're balancing on a box so that you can see the worktop. Yeah, heat-proof tape is a lot safer. I just wanted to point that out in case anyone's like, oh, Ellis uses masking tape. Because I don't recommend it, it's just that I literally have nothing else right now. Masking tape is also, you know, don't be silly and put sellotape in your heat press, because you will just make a mess. Everything, well, I will not be held responsible. So yeah, masking tape is probably an alternative. It's like a safety net if you run out of heat-proof tape, but you should use heat-proof tape, and I will be ordering some straight after this video because I didn't realise I didn't have any left. So next design I want to do is the Tea Party one. How much was the heat press? That is a good question. Let me just see if there's any more questions because I've just been dithering about. Right, that's the only question so far, that's cool. The heat press, if I remember rightly, was about £130. So they're not cheap, but they are an investment. When I first bought it, I was like, what have I done? And then I sort of go through phases with mugs, and finding a mug supplier sometimes isn't as straightforward as it might seem. Because of everything that can go wrong with sublimation printing, this is why so many people don't sublimation print, because you end up sometimes with a lot of waste, especially if you are new to it. It is it's about trial and error. Oh, it's loud and noisy, clumsy. But yeah, it's all that trial and error. So if you don't like waste and you can't get rid of that waste in a way that you feel is a bit more eco-friendly, it's something people want to avoid doing. It also takes up a lot of space, so obviously you have to have a special printer, and you have to have the mug press itself, which, as you can see there, it's not a small piece of kit. It's not enormous by any means, it's definitely smaller than a t-shirt press. It must work out cheaper than getting them printed by someone else. I personally think so. Depending on, obviously, if you buy more mugs at one time, they work out cheaper than buying just, say, like 10. I always try and buy at least 36, because that's like a box size. I know it's a random number, but that's like a standard box size of mugs. You obviously need to take into account your ink. I'm just trying to think of where my ink is. Where is it? Oh! God, it's got a bit of dust on it because it's been down there. My goodness, this is the ink. So it's like a special ink that's for sublimation. And if you don't like needles, look away now. You have been warned. Are you ready? Look away. I'll let you know when it's safe to look back. This syringe type thing, this isn't a needle. It's literally just like a long metal pipe attached to a plastic syringe component, and you withdraw the ink out the bottle and you very carefully squirt it into your ink cartridge. Oh my goodness, you can look back now. If you don't like needles, it's safe to look. I don't like needles either, and they freak me out. So the cartridges, I think what confuses people, is that really dark again? I don't know what's going on. I think what confuses people is the cartridges ideally should be replaceable ones. So when you take a cartridge out of a standard printer, the little chip on the cartridge tells the printer, if you take it out, it's effectively telling the printer that it's empty and you can't put that cartridge back in. With these ones, you can. So you can take them out and put them back in once you've refilled the ink, and for that reason there is less waste, especially in terms of plastic, because each cartridge, if you think, is made of plastic. And these bottles, I've never had to replace the bottles so far, because as you can see, you don't use very much ink. Maybe if I was making a lot more mugs, then I would be getting through a lot more ink, but with reusable cartridges, you kind of avoid that. So I think it's a bit more cost effective, and you also have a bit more freedom. Like I'm doing now, I've got 5 or 6 new designs to try out, so it's a lot better if you are just sat there thinking what design is going to look nice on a mug, or if you just want to make a one-off mug for your friend or your family for a present. You don't have to commit to a big batch order from a supplier. So yeah, I think it's more cost effective, especially if you're trying out new designs and you're just trying to work out what works for people, what people like. I really like doing it this way. Okay, looks like it's in the middle. Tea Party is up next, so we'll see how this one goes once that one's out. Also reminds me that I need to get one of my heatproof, well, it's not heatproof, it's just a cardboard sheet that I use to put the hot mugs on so that it doesn't melt my worktops. Where have I put it? Is that it there? Oh, that'll do. Just use a sheet of cardboard on my worktop and it just protects it, because if you put these mugs onto your desk when they're fresh out of the press, you'll melt something. So what I've just done now is set it to go for another 30 seconds or so, because I really do need to alter the timing on my press, because it seems to be a lot more vibrant if it has that extra 30 seconds. So I've just set it to go again. I'll keep an eye on it, but ideally I should reset the timer so that I shouldn't have to press it again. It will just add 30 seconds on for me. But they're not the easiest of machines to get the hang of. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, turn you around. So yeah, these buttons here, as you can probably tell, don't really mean very much. Can you see what I mean? So trying to set a new time on it is quite difficult. Anyway, I'll pop you back down so that I can take this mug out of the press. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the most unprofessional Patreon page of all time. Just heating up again. What are you doing? I think it's heating back up again to the temperature that I need, and then we can pop this one in. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's warm today, isn't it? But it's not like really sunny like it has been. If you're in the UK, that is. What's it like where you are? Okay, so some people like to let the mug cool down completely before they take the design off, and apparently that's the done way. But if you're impatient like me and you're like, I just want to see, then I peel it off. I don't think it makes much of a difference. I think that's just the way that on paper you should do it, but very carefully, because these are so hot right now. Is it magic or what? Oh my god, actually, that was a design, actually, that, can you see? That was a design that I was like, I'm not sure you are meant for a mug, but that's what I mean. You don't know unless you try. I wish the lighting was a bit better. Can you see? Isn't it pretty? I don't know if I could put you down here, actually. Is that a bit healthy for everybody? Can you see? The colours have come out really nicely, so that one can sit there for a second and just chill out. I also, because it's masking tape, I have learnt the hard way that if you leave the masking tape on the mug until it's cooled down, then you don't get any sticky residue. in the early days when I was like, oh bugger, I've run out of heat tape, and had to use masking tape, if I took it off while the mug was still hot, it leaves behind like a disgusting sticky residue that you just can't get off. So that's a top tip for you guys. I don't know whether to leave you there or take you back to the desk. I'll take you back to the desk for now, and then when the mugs come out of the press, we can transfer. But yeah, that's what I'm doing with you guys today. Just a little bit of different content for you. Hope that's all right. I wanted actually to ask you a question because I mentioned, where did I mention it? Might have been on Lens Stories, that I'm trying to book a holiday for this year. I don't know where to go. Neither of us do. We're being very indecisive. Here's our criteria, if it means anything to any of you, but we want to be able to relax because we are very much city break kind of people, and that's all we've ever done. We've never been on a beach holiday together. I've not been to a beach holiday since I was little. So it would be nice to just go somewhere that is like, you know, it's got a pool, it's got a beach, you can just take a book or listen to music on the beach. Even draw on the beach would just be a dream. But I've been looking at the Canary Islands or Spain, Greece I mean, what, Canary Islands or Greece, I'm talking rubbish as usual. But I don't know what they're like for vegan food. So Lisa, you might be able to help here, but I haven't travelled very much as a vegan, and when I was in Paris, it wasn't hard to find vegan food, but it definitely kind of like, it's not me. Right, let's just let you in on a little secret, and it's not going to surprise you, but James gets grouchy if he doesn't get enough food. So whilst I can like put up with, oh, I've not eaten very much today, I know it's not healthy, but I can survive and I'm not going to let it ruin my day. James gets really grouchy if he's not eating very much, and understandably so. He likes to work out a lot, he's a big boy, he likes to eat a lot. So yeah, we were looking yesterday, we thought, why don't we just do a city break in like a spa hotel, and then you've got the best of both worlds. You can relax and have a swim, maybe get a treatment or something, and then also there's lots to do in the city. But then we were looking at Amsterdam and Berlin last night, and I'd love to visit both of those places at some point, but I don't know if I'm falling into that trap again of a city break. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I love city breaks, but you don't come home feeling relaxed. You don't come home feeling rejuvenated and just chill, you know? Have you got any recommendations? You get hungry as well. Berlin is meant to be awesome for vegans, which is why I had a look at like a really cool option. We just glitched a bit, sorry about that. I hope we're back in action now. Greece seems like a really good option, but I don't know enough about their food and their options, and am I just being anxious about, am I thinking too much into it? I'd really like to go to a Greek island. I've wanted to go back to Greece since I was little. I've looked for vegan beach holidays, and funnily enough, there's just not very much information out there unless you go through like loads of different blogs and stuff. I found one girl's blog and she said it was alright trying to find vegan food in Greece, and that gave me quite a bit of confidence. Let's get another mug on the go. Wow, it's getting warm in here. That like kind of gave me a lot of hope and optimism. So I think beach holidays, Greece might be a good option. Ibiza is meant to be quite good for vegan scene, but I don't know. I've never been to Ibiza. I just wouldn't know. We want somewhere quiet. Oh. Let's just chuck another 30 seconds on that. Barley, you and Barley Mark. Mark's here, everybody. Be on your best behaviour. Be on your guard with Mark. He's a cheeky one. Yeah, it's got to be within budget though, you know? Like, we just want maybe a week and somewhere that's not really outside of Europe. Bali's outside of Europe, isn't it? This is where you shame me in my geography skills. I just don't know where to go, and it's really stressing me out now because I'd rather get something booked and not leave it, yeah, near Australia, get a stuffed Mark. If you want to pay for me to go to Bali, that would be awesome. But there's loads of places we'd like to go, like Japan, and Mark is going to Japan. Is it next month you go to Japan and Australia? He's going on like the trip of a lifetime, and I'm so jealous. But yeah, I don't know where to go. Somewhere that's not too far, somewhere that's not going to cost me an absolute bomb, because this year has been expensive already. I'm so jealous, Mark, that you're going on the trip of a lifetime. Like, Japan is on our bucket list. It's probably number 1 on our bucket list. Oh, let's take this one out. Oh. Ow. Oh, it gets so hot in here with this. Oh, let's take this one off, shall we? See what it looks like. In fact, I'll move you while I do it. Let's pop you in that little slot. What was I saying? Italy. We did Rome, and that's where I got bitten by a horse. We did Rome. We really liked it. I don't know. Maybe there's a lovely Italian place that we could go to that's beach, pools, that kind of stuff. This one is very hot. Let me see if I can get this tape off that piece. The heat coming off this mug is making me feel like I'm on a sunbed. They get so hot, I can't stress that enough. I'd also like to take you guys along. Tuscany. Never been there. I've only been to Rome in Italy. Right. See this one, I'm not so sure about. What do you guys think? Can you see that okay? Not sure. Can you see? It looks quite nice on camera, but in person, I don't know if I'm feeling it or not. I might have to. I like the idea of having tea party on a mug because it's very fitting. I just don't know whether the design needs stretching that way a bit, because when a design is circular, and if you imagine it's being wrapped around a circular object, the design, oh my goodness, 3 cheers for Alice and her flipping video skills. It does make it look a bit skinnier, so it's being wrapped around, and therefore the design looks like it's lost a bit of weight and it kind of goes upwards. I've got this one next, see how that one goes. There's probably so many places to like go, and I'm probably just overthinking it. I think my anxiety recently has just taken hold, and it's like, just don't bother going anywhere, Alice, just stay put. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to stay here out of fear of going anywhere, and then before you know it, the years have gone by and you didn't go anywhere in your life, and you're like, why didn't I do that when I had the chance? Also, because we don't go on holiday very often, the last time we went was Paris, and that was 2017, and that was our last trip anywhere. And I've always booked things online, and therefore you would think that there'd be loads of information. Can I move you over here with me? I'm just going to pop you there for a second. There we go. Oh, that is very hot. In we go. You would think that there'd be like loads of information online, but I'm just not finding it. I think that's, oh my god. I think I'm just not finding the right information. And my other question to you is it a lot easier if you're a bit unsure to just go to the travel agents? Travel agents exist for a reason, and here I am like, I don't know where to go on holiday. It's such a first world problem. I'm like, what do I do? Is it cheaper to do it online? Do you find better deals online? Is it, are travel agents really clued up these days on vegan travel and helping you there? Are you looking for somewhere catered? That's the other thing. I don't think we mind. We looked at all-inclusive. Then there's that risk of paying for all-inclusive and having the option of having food pretty much 24/7, but then also having very limited options when it comes to that food. So if you eat anything, I can imagine that it's great, but if you are limited or on a limited diet, you kind of want to make the most of it, don't you? And if you can only eat a couple of things on the menu, then is it worth paying for all-inclusive? I don't mind doing self-catering. I don't even mind bed and breakfast. I don't mind anything. Neither does James. We just want to be able to relax. This morning I filmed a video for you guys. It was a Q&A. So a question that May asked was, how do you deal with burnout? And last year we didn't get a holiday because we were saving for the bathroom. So now I think it's quite healthy, it's quite nice having something to look forward to. But also with relating to burnout, I just think it's important for us to step away sometimes, because as you guys know, something I really struggle with is taking time off that's proper time off. Let me just check this wall. I'm doing the walrus design. Don't know if it's something that people want to see on a mug, but if people don't like it, then I'll just keep it for myself because I love this one so much. Oh, what was I saying? I've just completely lost my train of thought because I was talking about walruses. And now I've just got David Attenborough on the brain. I don't mind where we go. I don't mind having to cook and that kind of thing, but I don't want to fall into the trap of being scared of finding food, having a grouchy husband, and just being like, oh, we'll go to a city then where there's plenty of option. Lisa, I think you've just asked a question. What about some kind of vegan retreat or a sanctuary? That's a really good idea as well. We've looked at retreats. Like yoga retreats. I think there's quite a few in Portugal actually, which might be worth looking into. This is what I wanted to ask you guys, because you are dotted all over the place and I didn't know if you had any suggestions, because you're just from all over really. And I'd be up for doing a retreat. I've been looking, I don't know about Animal Sanctuary, I would love to do it, but we're both very sensitive with allergies to animals. What are the chances? We both want to spend a lot of time with animals, but we can't because we're freaking allergic. So that would be amazing. It would depend on the animal as well, but I was looking at Kefalonia, which is a Greek island if you didn't know. But I went there when I was little, but they are known for their like sea turtle conservation stuff, and they have sea turtles just out on the beach and you can see them and things, and they do a lot of work with, well, conservation. Have I put a mug in the press already? Oh, I have. This one's ready to go though for next time. We also have a melon. Look at this cheeky chap. I thought I'd try a melon because the peach one's quite popular, so I thought I'd do melon as well and see how that one goes. But yeah, I'd love to spend more time with animals, but again, when we were in Rome, yeah, it's crap, isn't it? I'd love to spend time with animals, I really would. And when I was younger, I looked at going to a lion sanctuary in Africa because I was young, free and single at the time. But I was like, what if I'm allergic to the animals and can't touch them or actually get involved with anything? Even like the bedding and stuff that some animals have just makes me react so much. Flipping allergies. What are you gonna do? Oh, let me see. Melon. It's also like, it's annoying, isn't it, when you have to stay in budget and you can't just be like, book anywhere. And flights are so expensive. I'd love to be able to take you guys along though, go on a little vacay with you guys. I would ask this question, Devon. We went to Devon. Are you saying that because you're laughing at our experience in Devon? I love Devon. It's beautiful, and so is Cornwall. But we went for a camping trip. When did we go? Was it 2016, because when I got home from that trip, I busted my hand in Nice. That's how I remember that holiday. But we went camping. What a stupid idea. We went camping because literally everyone was like, you guys should go camping. So we borrowed literally all the equipment from James's parents, spent about £100 on the actual pitch and this campsite. And I won't lie, it was a nice location. The campsite was lovely because it was quiet. Oh, it makes me jump every time. Went to this lovely location and I really liked it because like the shower and bathroom facilities were close by, literally just across the path. So they were far enough away so you could avoid any nasty smells coming from the bathrooms, but if you needed a pee in the night or you needed a shower in the evening, you could just hop across the lawn, do your thing and then come back to the tent, and it was great. But it pissed it down for the whole week we were there, the whole week, and we got so soggy. And then allergies, it was hay fever season. Why did we go in the summer camping, or when else would you go camping apart from in the summer? Some people are hardcore and they do it. But yeah, everyone was like, go camping. And then we didn't realise, we didn't make the connection that we'd be setting up a tent and living on grass. And grass for us is like, it's my biggest trigger anyway for hay fever. And it was like, we enjoyed it, but it was also not ideal. Oh, so this one out. Right, pop that down there. Where is it? This one. Is anyone else really fed up with the noise that thing makes yet? Because I hear it in my dreams now. Beep, beep. Oh my God, shut up. I'll be nice to him though. He makes mugs for me, so we can't be too pissed at him. We also like Cornwall, but the downside to Cornwall is I just don't want to have to drive. Neither me or James wants to drive very far. I know it sounds lazy, but it's quite stressful for us driving. And I don't know, maybe I'm a pansy, but I don't want to have to start and finish a holiday with really stressful activity like driving. We could of course get the train, but it's so expensive. We're just trying to find like the most cost-effective way to have an enjoyable, relaxing break. And I think I've looked into the options so much now that I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. We sat on the bed last night looking for somewhere to go. And James was like, I think we're overthinking it now. We just need to pick somewhere. So maybe at the weekend we might nip down to the travel agents and just be like, look, we're vegans, we're a bit anxious about where to go that's quite easy access in terms of food for us. What have you got for us? And what's that level? You chop a bit off this end. That might be the easiest thing for us to do. Even get some brochures, because brochures might have information inside. Camping when it rains sucks. Had a week in Wales in the rain. Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? Because you just can't get dry. I was so close to just getting in the car and sleeping. And yeah, we didn't like it. And packing up as well. Camping's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Camping was fun, and we took we were vegetarians back then, so excuse the egg talk, but we took Linda McCartney sausages and eggs and corn bacon, and we did a fry up next to the tent, and it was great. It was really nice. Nothing more British is there than having a fry up outside of your tent, am I right? But yeah, the hay fever and the rain, not my cup of tea. So maybe, I think we're just thinking too much into it, and now it's got to a point where there's a few options, we just don't know which one to pick, and we're letting our brains run away with ourselves, like, oh, what if we can't eat anything? And I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's because you're a vegan, you know, like you ask for this trouble because you're a vegan, because it shouldn't be like that. It should be exciting, and I'm sure when we get to somewhere it will be exciting and it'll be really fun, but that initial decision making freaks me out. So I would ask this question. There's so many more people on YouTube, but as we know, I don't want to involve my vegan life on YouTube as much, and just save that for Patreon because you guys are usually so lovely about it. But yeah, on YouTube I just don't want to bring it up, and people might, you know, people are like, not very nice. I just realised actually we didn't unwrap this mug. Let's see how this one turned out. Let's pop you in your slot just there, look. Oh, I was just about to pick that up then. Did you see? I was like, no. It's hot, Ellis. Don't be silly. Let me see. I feel really thrown off this week with it being, well, it was Bank Holiday Monday. Sorry about the noise. If you do self-catering, there'll always be fruit. Yeah, that's very true. That's a good point, actually. Thank you, Lisa. I think if we meal planned before we went anywhere, and also I read a blog where this lady was saying that she was like, I'm obsessive, but I'm fine with that. And that's the kind of person I am, but she put things in her suitcase like Marmite, VB12, blocks of tofu you could also take with you to put in your meals. That's true actually. You can just, that's not, thank you Lisa for that, because when we were, yeah, I think I need to alter this design as well a bit. I don't know if you guys can see, but do you see what I mean by it goes a bit skinny? Sucked in and up because it's round. But no, I'm not pissed with them. I quite like them. Let me turn you around so you can see. Can you see those? This is awful. Let's just turn the camera around. There we go. Can you see those? Bit of a Wednesday fun for you, isn't it? Mark's just sent me a link actually, God bless him, with Vegan Cities. The thing with Greece too is, I think Corfu might be nice. You saw what I mean about shape. Thank you. I was like, I wonder if people can see what I'm seeing. It does look really cute, but it does also look a bit sucked in. So you have to, when you're putting it in Photoshop, making the template design, you just have to kind of stretch it out this way a bit to make up for it going. Let's do it all together. Right, we have a pumpkin next. I was just about to say, I think the downside to choosing somewhere a bit quieter is you also have the risk of not finding as many sort of, you know, like bigger shops, bigger supermarkets that you would be able to do self-catering in. Oh, bloody hell. It makes me jump every time. There we go. I think maybe the best option would be to go to a travel agent's. It's transfers that scare me as well. Transfers, like when you get to the airport and like trying to arrange to get to your place of stay. I'll tell you what, when I went to New York when I was 18, my mum took me for my birthday and it was a really amazing trip. But when we landed at JFK, we got in a taxi. I think we got in a taxi with a couple of other British people who were going to a hotel nearby. And it was just really lucky that we happened to bump into them. And they were looking for a taxi, we were looking for a taxi. And my mum, being my mum, she was like, do you want to share a taxi and split the cost? And they were like, yes. Is that a really English thing? Like, do you want to split the cost with us or share a taxi? I don't know if that's just what us Brits do. Is it something that other cultures do? Don't know. But the ride into New York in the back of that taxi, I thought I was going to die. And I think that's just the way New Yorkers drive maybe. But it was the same in Rome. We got a taxi. Oh, that design actually, I don't know if you can see on camera. The printer has sort of, it's not come out very, maybe we should skip the pumpkin this time. I'll print another one off once I finish the video. But that has got a bit of smudging on it from the printer, which if you print from home, you'll know happens from time to time. I've got a peace lily though. We can finish off with a peace lily because I sold out. I think Aaliyah had one the other week. She's a patron. She had a peace lily the other week. What was I saying? Rome, when we got the taxi to our hotel in Rome, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die on a street in Rome. Because they drive like crazy people. I don't think we've got any Italian patron family members. But you guys, they were driving like absolute warriors. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And, oh, actually after we got to our hotel and our first walk into Vatican City, we noticed that more or less every single vehicle, every single Vespa, every single ped, bike, everything had a bump of some sort on it. And we were like, oh, wonder why that is. They really did drive like maniacs, and I mean maniacs. I'm not really a nervous passenger, but in the back of that car, in a way, you're comforted by the fact that this is what they do. They do it every day. They've got skill to drive like that. But when you're not used to it, it can feel a bit scary. Oh, that mug. No. And this is why, this is why I should change the settings on the machine, because then I wouldn't have to remember that I've added an extra 30 seconds on. The freeways, is it like that in like Italy full stop? Do they drive like that everywhere in Italy? Because I was just so surprised. And then when we were walking around the Vatican City, I'm not joking guys, every single car, every single vehicle had a scrape or a bump on it, like a dent. And we were like, that's why. I don't know what it is. And because we've got a Fiat 500, and we did see, obviously because they come from Italy, they're an Italian car, we saw a lot of them around, all with scrapes on, and we were like, oh, that one's come out purple. Okay, he's going to need, let's turn you around. He's going to need doing again. I'm not sure actually if on camera, oh, that's hot. I don't know if you can see, that's purple in real life, not blue. So we're going to have to rework that. This is why experimenting with your designs is important, because sometimes they just don't, oh my god. Sometimes they don't turn out how you envision. But yeah, I didn't know that about the Italians. As I say, we've only been to Rome, and it was crazy. Rome was a really nice trip though. We saw and did so much, and I don't regret going one bit. There were a couple of things that we didn't see. There's a lot of walking involved. I think that's what put us off the most. Like, we walked everywhere. I think we got actually like one of the Roma passes, which is like a public transport pass that allows you to, I think you can use it, you can choose your duration, so I think you can use it over 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and obviously you pay for whatever, how many days you want to use it. And we did that and used the subway a couple of times, but a lot of the time we did also just walk. And my god, my feet, that'll teach me guys to actually get some proper shoes. What a mistake to make, walking around Rome in flat pump shoes. Oh, and they don't tell you either before you go, if you're going to Rome, make sure, because it's sweltering hot there, which I don't mind, but when you're going into the holy places, can I put, oh, let me just put another mug in the machine. I'm so scatterbrainy. This noise, honestly. Beep, beep. Shh. I need a mug. Just got another blank mug. They don't tell you before you get there that you need to cover up. So I assume it's men as well, otherwise that's very sexist, isn't it? But you need to cover up your arms and your legs to get into the Vatican Museum, I think, Sistine Chapel, and the Vatican, the actual Vatican, the Basilica. Is that how you say it? But there were people there that had travelled from miles and miles from their hotel, for example, and because it was so hot, they were in shorts and a vest top, and then you queue up, and then they're like, you're not coming in because you are naked. They weren't naked, they were just tourists being tourists. And if you don't know, you don't know. But then you get inside, and there's a load of paintings and statues of naked people. Riddle me that. Sneaky, aren't they, the church? Very, very sneaky. How they get around this. A lot of men and women with fig leaves, and that is all. And I mean, that is all. Beautiful to see though. The Vatican was incredible, quite scary. They have so much power. So much power. Although it's quite funny, I found it really funny that all of the gift shops in Vatican City had pictures of the Pope, like, just peeping out of his window. And that's the Pope, you know? I don't know much about the church. I just know that they're scary people. They're scary, powerful people. And shall we be controversial for a second? What do you guys think to Notre Dame? Should we do that now or another time? Because I really feel for Paris and, well, history overall. Architecture, it's heartbreaking seeing a building like that coming down. Thank goodness most of it has been like salvageable, and they can rebuild it. But like a lot of people, I guess I feel a bit let down by the help that is just summoned immediately in the name of architecture, in the name of art, in the name of the church, religion, in the name of just, you know, helping people, helping Paris recover. When we saw Notre Dame, when we were in Paris, it is stunning. There's, honestly, it's a beautiful building. Yeah, that's what I mean, Lisa. Thank you for saying that, because I'm thinking it, and I don't know whether I'm safe to say it. Nothing's taboo here, is it? Let's just say it. I just feel let down by the willingness from people to help, yet meanwhile there's so many people crying out that we are running out of time. Climate change is real. Climate change is real, and it's happening, and it's terrifying. And I think there's just been something to do with carbon capture technology. It's possible, it's a new thing, it can be done, but the funding will never happen. People don't want to get behind it, yet Notre Dame burns down. They're on it within 24 hours. And it just goes to show that we can do it. We can do this. We can club together and make change happen. It's kind of sad, isn't it? It's bittersweet. People are willing to help. And thank goodness Notre Dame will stand and be glorious again. But what about everything else? Just going to leave that there. I wonder, that mug is just in the press still. But do you guys have any other questions for mug printing while I'm here? Because as usual, I've been talking for nearly an hour again. How does this happen? But yeah, I think I'll revisit a couple of designs. And as I mentioned at the start, the beauty of having seconds mugs is that you can not feel too sore about wasting designs. Mason mugs, should I say. The supplier is sending me 6 replacements for the ones that were second, so I think I'll go through these and probably put them up in the shop as seconds at a discounted price or something if I'm not happy with them. But it's been fun. It's been a way to kill an hour, I suppose. I keep checking my emails because, let me just refresh them again. It's not going to be there, no it's not, but I'm just impatient. I ordered new business cards and enamel pin backing cards last week, and with it being Easter weekend, like they normally come within like 1 or 2 days because they're speedy. Banana Print basically don't pay for advertisements anywhere, so they can use, they don't have to charge as much for their print. So they say, this is what they say they do. They don't pay for advertisements, therefore they don't have to charge as much for their products, if that makes sense. So yeah, they are really reasonable and they have a really quick turnaround, so between like 1 and 3 days I think. But with it being Easter weekend now, just gone, they're being really slow. Not really slow, because print, when you get things made it takes a while anyway, but when you're used to 1 or 2 days, you're like, where is it? Add another 30 seconds onto that, or more if I forget. But yeah, I keep refreshing the emails because I'm like, where are my cards? I just want my cards now. And also I ordered the pins yesterday, you might have seen on Instagram, but they are on their way. It's the last stretch now. I'm so excited for them, really excited for them to arrive and send them out to you guys. It feels nice now that we have, that was the last hurdle. So there's like the first month that you have to get through of your Kickstarter, and that's like an emotional roller coaster because people pledge and then sometimes they leave, sometimes people get declined, and it's just such a, will we make it, will we make it? Oh, there's a melon down there. I've got this one left. Then there's like, normally I've done, this is my 3rd Kickstarter, and the first 2 I waited 2 weeks for the funds to be released. This one, oh, didn't sound healthy, did it? This one I waited about 3 weeks for the money to be cleared. I think because Easter weekend again messed that one up. So yeah, then you have to wait for the money to be released, and then you have to order the pins, and because they're such a lengthy process item to make, it's like 4 weeks on average. But last time they got them out to us within 2 to 3 weeks, so I have everything crossed that they get wiggle on. Obviously I want them to be as perfect as possible, so I don't want them to rush. This is not me thinking just rush it, because I want them to be good for you guys. But yeah, as with anything, I'm just so excited that I just can't wait to see them. But yeah, this is like the last bit now, and then James is actually going to be helping me to pack these ones. It's definitely the biggest campaign, biggest outcome that I've ever had, and the last one I remember being very tired after packing them all. So this time there's like double the pins. Thank you so much. I can't believe how well it's done. But yeah, he's going to be helping me to pack these ones, and that'll be really fun. Getting him on board a little bit more because he wants to. Anyway, we have two more mugs to unwrap. So there's the melon. I think the walrus one might have been the one that, when will you pack them? We will be packing them pretty much as soon as they arrive. Oh, there we go. Let me just unwrap this. I'm hoping to have them like shipped out within, oh, that masking tape came off. Oh, he's cute. This one's come out really nicely. Can you see it? I'll show you in the light. This one's really nice. Can you see? Really cool. So that one will go quite nicely with the peach. Yeah, because there'll be 2 of us working on packing, I'm hoping to have them shipped out within no longer than a week of them arriving, because it sounds like a very easy process, but basically if you can imagine 500 pins arriving and having to check them all, it takes a long time, because you have to go through them and check them for imperfections and then put any seconds aside. If by the off chance that the batches do contain a lot of seconds, and by a lot I mean more than like 30%, so if like more than 30 of them are duds and they're not good enough, I'm going to have to contact the supplier again and tell them it's not good enough. They will most likely ask for those pins back and get a new batch into production ASAP. I've not had to do that before. The Foxes pins, let me show you. Just while that last mug finishes, these pins in here are all seconds of Foxes, and I think there was at least 40 of them that were seconds, so I'm trying to sell them. They're £4 each now. I've just reduced them again because I just need to get rid of them. Again, there's very little wrong with them, but they are seconds. They've got like little flecks of dust in them that you can barely see, but because I've got Hawkeye and I'm like, yeah, that's there. I really should have last time got in touch with the supplier and told them that it wasn't good enough and to do the batch again. I don't know, I think the reason I didn't do it is because it's quite wasteful. Like, what are they going to do with these pins? They're going to bin them, no doubt. I don't know if you can recycle them, whether you can melt them down and do something with them, I don't know. So there's that, like being wasteful. I'm sure the majority of my customers would be more than happy to contribute to buying seconds pins and being less wasteful. So there's that, and then there's also the chance of waiting another 4 weeks on top of, you know, potentially waiting another 4 weeks for a new batch of pins, because it's already a very lengthy process. So a month for the Kickstarter, 2 to 3 weeks for the funds to be released, and then up to another 4 weeks to get your pins. And then there's delivery time, so if you're not in the UK with me, it could take another couple of weeks for you to actually receive your pins. Hence why I was a little bit reluctant last time. In fact, I was very reluctant, that's why I didn't do it. But I didn't like contact my supplier and say too many of these are seconds, like, can you redo them? But we'll see. I am very confident, and you know what, we did 4 pins last time, and out of all 4 of those, only the Foxes really had seconds. There was a few potions, maybe there was less than 20 potions, I know that much, and I think there was less than 10 unicorns that had seconds. There was 0 voodoo dolls that had seconds. So, you know, it's very hit and miss, and it depends. Like, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's just unfortunate that the Foxes, they're really cute as well, but at least I have loads left over, you know, for when I do fairs and things. Can you see? I don't know if that's focusing. Camera on this iPhone is terrible. I just picked this one out actually, and I just can't see very much wrong with it, and then I'm like, oh, just a tiny little speck. most people that buy them say they can't really see anything wrong with them, and that's really nice to know. But I think I've got a quality control issue. I just want to send people as best as I possibly can, and that might drive some other people crazy, but I just want to be honest with people, and if things aren't quite up to standard, then I don't want to sell them full price. That's just the kind of person I am. Oh. Right, another 30 seconds and then I'll show you that mug. But yes, it's the final hurdle, and then they'll be here and then we can pack them up. I've ordered boxes too. And I think I've got a few different sizes on the way, so depending on how many pins people ordered, different size boxes, because again, I'm just trying to be as eco-friendly as I can. Speaking of eco-friendly, I was making my coffee this morning and I was like, oh, all of my coffee pods, I mean, I didn't buy these, my nana bought them for me, but they're all wrapped in a plastic case to keep them fresh. Right, last one. They're all wrapped in a plastic case to keep them fresh, and I was like, oh damn it, because I use a coffee machine which was handed down to me from my dad, so again, to save chucking that in the bin, he was like, would you like my coffee machine? And I said yes. So my coffee pod, shall I go and get one for you? Shall I just quickly, I'll be back in just a second guys, and I'll show you what I mean by these coffee pods. Oh, I think I get hiccups. I think I'll shut that window now. Shut the window. This is what I mean by plastic. So I don't have coffee pods that have like a plasticky cup. What I mean by plastic is this casing that it comes in. In my empty room. What's creepy about it? Let me know. There's nothing in here, is there? But this is the coffee pod, so there's no plastic on this, and I'm pretty sure these are compostable. It smells like heaven. Oh my god. So good. These things I think are compostable. So I want a composter at home. I'm going to look into getting one this year, just a small one though, because our garden is minuscule. But I looked at these and I was like, what do you do with that? There's nothing on there that suggests you can recycle it. So, just another way that I'm going to try and be a bit better to the environment is getting a coffee grinder and grinding my own beans and doing it that way. And then it's not foil. It looks like foil, doesn't it? But it's actually, it's plastic. It's like a plasticky, metallic-y. It's definitely plastic. It just looks like metal. So it's like a plasticky packet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not foil. I'll look into it further because I was looking at this earlier and I was like, maybe I should sell it. I'll tape this back up somehow so it's fresh, or I could just make another coffee and be naughty and be bouncing off the walls. But yeah, I was looking at that this morning and I was just like, oh god, that's another way. It's just more plastic. I'll have to see who the company are, because as I said, my nana bought these for me, bless her, because she learned that I'd run out of coffee pods, and she was like, oh no, you can't have no coffee pods, because she knows how much I like coffee. Peace, Lily. There we go, he's come out really nice. So going forward, I'm just gonna, I think there's a man on our local market that sells coffee, and he puts it in a paper bag and you take it home and you grind it, and from what my dad's told me, you put it in a glass jar in the fridge and keep it fresh that way. So just another way to try and be a bit more eco-friendly, I guess. But yeah, I think we should probably talk about stuff like that at a later date in a different video, otherwise I'll be here for hours and nobody wants that. But just the importance, I think we could probably talk about the importance of changing the little things in our day-to-day lives, and just recognising when things are there is the potential to change something. So like with the coffee, do I need coffee pods? No. Can I think of an alternative? Yes. And it's little things like that, because I personally feel like once you start asking people to change, they freak out sometimes and they're like, I can't change my routine, and it seems like a much bigger thing than it has to be. So if we can together think of as many things as possible can change, i.e. bamboo toothbrushes, I think we could probably do a lot of I nearly said brainstorming, and apparently you can't say that anymore, but you know what I mean. And we could think of some things together to try and, because yeah, climate change is happening, the environment is in a state, and I feel quite passionately about it at the moment, I'm not going to lie. So if you'd be interested in joining a live video about that, then do let me know. I hope you enjoyed the mug printing today. Look at all of these. I think the terrarium actually is the one that I very nearly didn't do, and then it's come out. I think it's my favourite one that's come out of today. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you will have a lovely rest of your Wednesday.